Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Ben Armstrong's Crossfire panel debates what could push XRP to $25 between XRP ETF and Ripple IPO. Interesting debate here, interesting debate. So for you guys who don't know, which I'm sure you do anyway, Ben Armstrong, formerly known as BitBoy, he has a huge following. He has been very controversial as of late, but we won't get into that as that's not for the purpose of this video. But he is very much a strong member of the XRP army. He wasn't at the beginning, to be fair. He was very skeptical and would downplay XRP, but he is now reformed. He is a believer. And so this is one of those interesting discussions as to what could really push XRP's price. Now, I'll just be honest with you before we even get into this. I think both things are significant in my opinion, and I'll get into why as we go further through the video. But I think both of these can actually have a potential impact on XRP's price. Now, one thing that I will say just before we get started, because I know a lot of people will say this, people usually say, well, the Ripple IPO has got nothing to do with XRP, so why would the Ripple IPO have any impact on XRP's price? I do understand that point. However, the thing that you've got to understand is that Ripple is pretty much synonymous with XRP. So when people are hearing good news about Ripple, I think it may just make them correlate that to XRP, right? And what you've got to think is this. So if we look at the Ripple IPO, for some people, they can't get into the Ripple IPO right now. For some people, like in America, for example, you have to be what's called an accredited investor to be able to actually get involved in the IPO. And the obstacles to become an accredited investor are really high. Like the bar is really high. So you have to have something like $1 million in wealth or something like that. Or you have to have earned like $100,000 in the last year. It's some like really high bar that you have to pass to be able to become an accredited investor. And so a lot of people will not be able to get involved in the IPO. And so what that could mean is that they will get involved in XRP instead, right? Or let's just say they see the IPO does really well, which makes people think, oh, okay, Ripple are looking very good. The IPO has gone great. So of course, a lot of people are having faith in Ripple now. And what's the cryptocurrency that Ripple use? Oh, XRP. Well, okay, if I can't get involved in Ripple, well then let me get involved in XRP then. Right? So I do think that although Ripple doesn't necessarily equate to XRP, I do understand and agree with that. I do think that that can still help in terms of XRP's price with the IPO if it was to go well. So I do think both of these can be significant factors in my opinion for XRP's price. But let's get into the article and then we can discuss this a little bit further. In a recent episode of Crypto Crossfire on Ben Armstrong's Crypto Influencer channel, the discussion revolved around the pivotal factors that could drive XRP to reach $25. The expert panel, comprising Ben Armstrong, AJ, and a moderator, examined the potential bullish catalysts for XRP, focusing on two pending events with defining potential for XRP. Precisely, they weighed in on whether an XRP ETF or the eventual IPO of Ripple would lead to a sustained increase in XRP value to $25. What has bigger impact on XRP, ETF or Ripple IPO? Panelist AJ initiated the discussion, arguing what factor would exert a more substantial collective impact on XRP, Ripple's IPO or an XRP ETF. Without hesitation, AJ asserted his stance favouring the ETF, citing it as the more reasonable choice. Expanding on his perspective, AJ delved into the statistics, drawing a comparison with the Coinbase IPO. He claimed that Coinbase's initial public offering had a lackluster performance, specifically pointed out a disparity between its pre-IPO valuation and the valuation on the IPO launch day. AJ mentioned that while Coinbase's valuation initially pumped, the firm has lost a significant percentage, claiming it is now down $26 billion. Drawing a parallel to Ripple's potential IPO, AJ underscored the indirect relationship between Ripple's valuation and XRP's price. In particular, he pointed out that trading Ripple does not necessarily correlate with a direct benefit to XRP. On the other hand, AJ emphasized the direct impact an ETF could have on XRP's price. He drew historical examples with the Bitcoin Futures ETF, illustrating how ETF speculation led to higher highs in October 2021 and contributed to the broader bull run in November 2021. AJ concluded that, based on past price action, ETFs and the associated speculation wield a more potent influence than an IPO. Ben Armstrong counters AJ's ETF stance. Meanwhile, Ben Armstrong offered a counter perspective on AJ's ETF stance. He clarified the uncertainties surrounding the correlation between an IPO and XRP's price. Armstrong emphasized that, unlike the traditional stock market, the crypto landscape lacks a clear precedent for the impact of a company's IPO on the associated digital asset. Armstrong argued that the crypto market, especially in the context of a major coin like XRP, is yet to witness the implications of such a significant event. Unlike AJ's claim, Ben asserted that Coinbase's IPO was a phenomenal success. He clarified that the primary beneficiaries of an IPO are the company and its shareholders, leading to a temporary drop in stock prices as they cash in on their gains. XRP journey to $25. With XRP currently trading at 64 cents, the coin's journey to $25 will require a percentage growth of at least 3,768%. Given the current controversial XRP ETF and the Ripple IPO in the offering, it remains to be seen which would lead more influence on XRP. Okay, interesting. So, I think there's both good points there to have been made by Ben and AJ. I think they both have valid points. If you was to ask me, which one do I think it would be? I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. We're all obviously speculating. No one really knows for sure. But I would agree with AJ personally. I think it would be more the ETF rather than Ripple's IPO in my personal opinion. Not to say that I don't think that XRP couldn't rise in value from the IPO. As I said earlier, I do think there are reasons to say as to why that could still occur. But I do personally think that the ETF would be the more likely factor because that is actually giving people access to XRP directly. I do think that is something that would make a bit more of an advantage than the Ripple IPO, like it is directly connected to XRP and it is making it more accessible for the average person to hold XRP. So I think that's going to have a more hands-on impact rather than the Ripple IPO, which would be like an indirect impact on its price. So I don't think it would be as significant in my opinion. Obviously, I do not know any of this for sure, but this is just what I would think from my own personal research and my own personal opinion, right? But for me, I would think that the ETF would be the more driving factor in terms of price. Now, I do notice that they're specifically saying $25. Does that mean that's what's going to get it directly to $25? I'm not so sure of that, but is it possible? Yeah, of course. I mean, people are talking about $25 and up even just for the bull run alone, right? So it could be that XRP could go to higher prices with that kind of stuff going on if we was actually in a bull market as well. But yeah, I do think it's going to help the price rise exponentially. I mean, if you look at when we saw the whole fake news come out about the ETF, the price started rocketing, right? But it seems like this was someone's chance to try and dump on the market. So once the price had risen, they obviously inevitably sold and took the profits, which then dumped the price back down, especially when people found out that it was fake, because then you've got the retail investors also panic selling as well, right? So obviously that just added to the price plummeting again. But you've seen a preview of what can happen when these ETFs get approved, and we've seen that that is real good price action. So if this was legitimate and it was true, of course I think that's going to rally the price. Yeah, I think that's pretty inevitable. But I do also think the Ripple IPO could have a significant impact on XRP's price as well. So I think these are both huge factors that can help to its price. So really, it doesn't matter which one helps as long as they both help, right? As long as they're both in the mix, to me, they're both positive things. So I'm here for both of them, if I'll be honest. I'm not here to pick and choose. I think they're both going to aid in the price value for XRP. So I want to see both of these things, in all honesty. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes peeled for news on both of these things, because I think they'll both be significant events for XRP. But what do you guys think? The XRP ETF or Ripple's IPO? Which one do you think would be the more significant impact on XRP's price? Do you think it could be the XRP ETF? And if you think so, why do you think so? Or do you think it could be Ripple's IPO? And if you think so, why do you think so? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.